Hey everybody, I'm Chris Charbonneau with SpinSheet Magazine, and right next to me is the editor of SpinSheet, Miss Molly Winans. Hello, Molly.
Hi, Sharp. Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. How are you today?
Happy Friday. Yeah, I'm doing great. Busy, long week, but doing just fine. How about you?
Hey, it's Friday and it's a beautiful day.
That's right.
I'm ready for some on the water action this weekend. And what's that behind your head there? That looks like a Spin Sheet Century Club flag.
It is.
Ah,
I am
nice.
not gonna get one of these.
You know that is that I know the markings on that. That was our very first Spin Sheet Century Club flag, and I know that because we did. It didn't occur to us to put the date on it.
That's why I have it.
Yeah, yeah. That's how you
Um,
recognize the very first one. And who knows when that was? It was like 2014 or something like that.
wow, wow, that's a while ago.
I know it's
Um,
been a while. So here we are. Welcome back to the Spin Sheet Happy Hour, the lunchtime edition. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
it is five
I'm just
o'clock
drinking some
somewhere.
LaCroix over here, but that's because I still have some work to do today.
Yeah,
It's a
I'm
little early for
I'm
me to start.
I'm just doing the water right now. I'll have the rest. I'll have the good stuff later on. So,
Well, we have a
um,
nice little program for everyone today. We're going to bring on Greg Gendell from Quantum Racing. He's going to give us some tips from the bow. We're going to do a little racing update from our September issue and list some upcoming regattas, show you Mount Gay Red Hat of the Month and a Mount Gay Cocktail of the Month.
yes, we're all set to go. First of all, just got to thank our sponsor, Mount Gay Rum. Without them, we can't do this, and without you guys, they wouldn't pay us to do it. So, anyway, let's bring on our guest. Let's bring on Greg. Hey there.
Hi,
Hey,
Greg.
everybody.
Welcome back to the Spin Sheet Happy Hour, the lunchtime edition.
Hi, everybody. Good to be back.
Yeah.
So we have a little bit of a delay with you, Greg, but it comes and goes. So we're just going to keep rolling with it.
Yeah, I'll
So
hide myself. That might help. So,
yeah, last time Greg was on the program, I looked it up because I was curious. Because I remember him being on the program, and I remember him telling this incredible story about sliding down the forestay in the middle of a regatta, and it was memorable enough that I thought, "Where is that?" And I found it. It was June of 2020, so we were in sort of full-on lockdown mode at that time, and everybody was doing these programs, and we had no idea that we would still be doing it 2 years later. So, anyway, welcome back, Greg. It's good to have you. It's good to see your smiling face. I saw you on Wednesday night out on Rattle and Rum. And how'd you guys do?
Yeah, it was a beautiful night. The boat, it's a 26 footer. It's really fast downwind, but we race against these like 35, 40-foot boats. So it's hard for us to save our time when we have to go upwind a lot. So it was a good night. We were fifth or sixth, I think, but it was fun.
Fun is the good part. That's what Wednesday nights are all about.
Yeah.
So let's dig right into the bow portion of this, because I think a lot of people want tips on how to do the bow better, and you happen to be an expert at it. So why don't you start by giving us sort of the 1-minute version of your career as a bowman? You can start as being a little kid if you want, but if you could tell us where you've been and where you are right now, that would help.
All right. In 1 minute. So I grew up on the Magothy River. My family, we learned to sail together on a few boats, 23 feet, 26 feet, and then 28 feet. Bang was the last one. And I was fortunate enough, this might go over a minute, but I worked for Jim Cullen, who was a local sailmaker in town that a lot of our listeners will know Jim. Jim gave me some good breaks in the early 90s. In the Kenwood Cup in the mid 90s. And then once you get that on your resume, I was able to do the Whitbread with Chessie Racing, the 97, 98 race. And that for me was by far my biggest break. I sailed on some J-class, some cool boats like the J-class boats and Comanche. The thing I'm probably most well known for is the Quantum Racing. I've been with Quantum Racing since the start. 2008 was our first year. We've had a lot of success. That team, in June, we won a world championship. So that was our 7th world championship that Quantum Racing has won. So something I'm pretty proud of. So I just toot my own horn for a second since you asked of one something I'm proud of. I've won races on 6 different continents also. So it's been an amazing career. It's been fun. Very fortunate.
So just real quick, for anyone who might not be familiar with what quantum racing is, can you just explain that?
So quantum racing is a TP52. We do the 52 Super Series over in Europe, and it's all professional. It's at a high level. Some would say it's probably the top monohull circuit in the world. It was the Audi Med Cup for a number of years, and then the 52 Super Series took it over in about 2014. So we do 5 events a year, of which we've done 3 so far this year.
That's great. Thank you. All right, let's if you were to give a bow person 101 course, what would be a few essential points that you would make sure to let your audience know?
Yeah, a few essential. So the first thing is to be organized. Like I like to have a system for everything, so it looks the same every time that I'm hooking up the spinnaker or taking the jib down. You know, everything is organized and repeatable. That's important. A lot of stuff comes in and out of the front hatch in these boats these days, so it's really important to have that area organized. You have to gain experience and make mistakes to learn. And to gain experience, you know, I like to sail a bunch of different boats. When I was young, I said yes to everything. And, you know, J22s, match racing, inshore, offshore, overnighters, it all helps. You can take one thing you learn from one boat and apply it to another boat and build on it. So that's fun. And I said you have to make mistakes to learn. That's part of the process as well. You know, you might make the same mistake twice, but you gotta learn from it and try not to make that mistake again. And that's part of the experience. Is once you've seen a situation, you can replay the tape quickly in your head and be like, okay, I've seen this before, and this is what we have to do to avoid making this, or this is how I get out of this mistake once you're into it. So there's some good tips there. And the other thing is just to have a good attitude and ask questions, I think, early on. There's a lot of people in the sport that have been doing it a long time, and you can learn a lot from them. So,
yeah. And is it helpful to find sort of a mentor, someone else who's really good on the bow that could move you along?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I'm afraid that some people just sort of get thrown up there, like figure it out. And we lost our bow person. You're it now. And
yeah, I'm sorry, you lost what?
I feel like sometimes people, they lost their bow person and they just bring someone on and just say, you know, it's all yours now.
Yeah. I mean, having a mentor would be great. Yeah, I've sailed with some younger guys this summer that I've kind of helping bring them up a little bit. Some guys in Newport. That's been fun. You know, at this point in my career, I don't feel this competitive thing that somebody is going to kick me out of my spot or whatever, you know. Yeah. And so I feel like I'm giving back a little bit and bringing the younger kids up, because I know, you know, we're not getting any younger, and at some point these younger people have to take over. So I'm trying to give back and help them. Yeah,
well, that's great. So when we first came up with the idea of bringing you back on the show and talking more about the bow, the idea was calling it something like what the front of the boat wish the back of the boat knew. So for anyone who's tuned in who usually is on the other side of the boat, what are some of the things that the bow person just wishes they knew about what you do and some of your challenges and how they can work better with you?
Right. Okay. So I'm lucky that I sail on a lot of good boats at a high level. So generally everybody on the boat knows what the other people are doing. So there's not a lot of competitive. Yeah, there's not a lot of the front of the boat yelling at the back of the boat, and the back of the boat yelling at the front of the boat on the boats I sail on. Some funny thing. When we pack the jib, when we have to full the worst angle, it's the wettest and the windiest, so that doesn't help us when they do that. So they can either
Greg is freezing up a little
take
bit.
The time they can have lunch and debrief the race and stuff like that. And Okay, hopefully it'll stop doing that. Do you have me now?
I do have you now. I think Chris Charbonneau turned off his
so
camera. That might.
Okay. All right.
You're
the
in
other thing
now.
I was saying was between races, the bow people are very busy, and often we don't have time to get even like food and water. And then the warning signal will happen, and we still haven't eaten or drinking anything between races. So some people are aware of that, and they're like, "Oh, I got you. I kept your water bottle, or here's a gel or whatever it is to get us going for the next race," and that's always good.
Oh yeah, that is good. So I remember. So you're a fit guy. You besides being a bowman, I know you're a very active cyclist. Let's talk a little about fitness. And what do you recommend to people who'd really like to improve their game on the bow when it comes to fitness? And right. I remember one thing you recommended, but I'm going to go ahead and let you make your recommendation.
Okay. Yeah. So I took a couple little notes on this, and I started writing some stuff, and it ended up being, there's not a lot there, but it's a substantial list. So I think, to answer your question, fitness is very important to me, especially as I get older. I've always been known to be fit and to show up ready for the job or ready to sail. So having a strong back is very important. And there's a lot, especially offshore sailing on the bigger boats, it's really hard on your back. So everybody will tell you having a strong back starts with your core. So having a strong core in midsection is important to protecting your back. So I do a lot with that. I do a lot of cardio, as you mentioned, cycling. I do some swimming as well. So cardio is important. And then, there's a lot of athleticism that needs to happen from a bowman, especially as it gets windy and waves and stuff. So I mentioned that core. And then there's a lot of stability stuff as well that can help with your balance. And with that is a lot of times we're working up on the bow, you have your legs bent. So strong legs, quads, hamstrings, glutes, all that ties into the strong back and core.
Yeah.
So there's, so that's a lot of it there. And then the last thing on the bow is it's a lot of times you'll just go back and forth and, you're hiking and you're tacking the boat and moving quickly. But when it comes time to actually work, there's a lot of explosive efforts. So in the gym, I try to replicate, once I get warmed up, I try to replicate some of those explosive efforts to just get my muscles ready for that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I kind of remember your talking about the rowing machine.
Yep. The rower's very good. Yeah. As I said before, the back, the quads, the legs, the rower does all that. And I might have said this in the last interview in 2020, but generally the rowers are empty at gyms because they're so hard. And
they are. I like the rowing team, but they are hard.
Yep. And you have to be mentally tough for it. And a lot of sailing, you have to be sailors are generally mentally tough. And the rowing machine, definitely you have to be mentally tough to get on that.
Yeah. And I remember doing it for an extended period. At one point, my knee started to hurt because I wasn't thinking about the leg as much as I was thinking about, upper body strength. And it works all different types, all different parts of your body. So I had a question before that. I asked my questions out of order, but I do remember from the 2020 interview that one of the things that you recommended to people was to think like a tactician on the bow. Mm-hmm. Can you explain that again and why you recommended that and what you meant by that?
Yep. Okay. See if I can describe this. So, on the bow, you have to think about where you are on the race course and the course geometry and kind of like how much. And so I track the wind direction. If I can see the actual, while I'm still hiking, if I can see the wind direction on the boat or the compass heading on a smaller boat, I'll keep an eye on that. And then there are other ways you can just kind of feel whether the boat's lifted or headed. So, generally we want to be prepared for what's coming up. And so tracking the wind direction will help when you're likely to tack or when you're likely to jibe or coming into the bottom, how much time, back to that course geometry, how much time you have on each jibe coming into the approach to the bottom. And if you think ahead, you just know what to expect. And then with that, a basic understanding of the rules, and as the sailing gets, as you start competing at a higher level, you have to have a better understanding of the rules. So, say, calling overlaps, for example, or at a mark situation, just knowing if you have rights there or not. If you don't have rights, okay, what are we likely to do? So just, it's all happens very quickly, but you have to know how to respond in each situation so you can think ahead.
Mm-hmm. And any other tips you have, such as thinking like a tactician or?
Yeah, I mean, the other example I have written down here in my notes is like if you're coming into the windward mark and you notice, port roundings, if you notice the wind is in a right shift, then you're more likely to do a jibe set or a sambuca or whatever it's called these days. So, you want to get onto port jibe quickly in a right shift. So just something, that's one little example is, and then often if I know we're in a big right shift and, I'll say to the bag rather than they'll say, I'll say to them sometimes, you thinking about a set jibe here or a jibe set or whatever. And they're like, and that puts it in their head too. So, and it just gets everybody in the middle also that's between us thinking about, okay, this right shifted here. So we could be into a set jibe situation. So I don't know, one example there.
Yeah. Okay. Since I already covered my fitness question.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit more on how to gain some more experience on the bow.
Yep.
I mean, it's tough for people sometimes that they've got a regular Wednesday night thing and or they're a regular part of a crew. It's tough for them to diversify. They only have so many nights a week or days a week that they can go sailing. Any recommendations for sort of finding the right boat or getting a wider variety of experience?
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. It's all finding the balance of what you have time for and stuff. We're lucky in Annapolis that there is so much racing on the different weeknights and on the weekends. A lot of different variety of boats. I'm a little bit out of the loop for the local sailing as far as, I get asked that a lot. Like, how do I get on a Wednesday night boat or how, and that's not that hard, but I'm a little bit out of the loop there. But just gaining experience, I just what I said earlier, just with what you learn on a J22 and a J80, there are different techniques there, but you can take a little bit from one to the other. And like the overnight races, that's as and a lot of the listeners know, that's another different experience altogether. And there's stuff to learn there. Yep, there's a lot to learn there. And then like a Bermuda race, for example, the overnight race to a Bermuda race, that's a different level again of preparedness and what your body's going to go through and what you have to be ready for. And we're lucky because it's a great sport. It's a sport we can do for a long time, and we're, I think, fortunate to be a part of it.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun.
Are there any, and I know I didn't include this question before, and I'm sure I asked you a couple of years ago, but just for anyone who's thinking about doing the bow or who is maybe a little hesitant to try doing the bow or anything like that, you said it's important that they think like a tactician. A level of fitness is important. Any other qualities of bow people that are important? I always say to people, I don't want to do the bow. I don't think I'm coordinated enough to do the bow. I don't think I'm quick or coordinated enough to do the bow. And I saw that early on, that I just didn't have that sort of drive. So just a couple qualities of a good bow person.
A couple qualities of good bow. Well, a little side story quickly. I know we're getting close to our 15 minutes here, but my son sails dinghies and he's getting into big boat sailing. He signed up for Dave Perry's match race clinic back in the spring. And my son Ben wanted me to sail with him on the Friday just to get to know the boat a little bit. So I cleared that with Dave Perry and we did it. And he encouraged everybody to switch on the boat. And there were different adults, different kids, and everybody did every position. And that was really fun because you see these people that aren't typical bow people, these people that are older. And it was actually really fun and cool to see them up there and doing it, and at a low stress, low, if they make mistakes, the consequences don't matter there. And it was really cool to see that. So that was fun. And, what are the qualities? We kind of went over them before, just with, if you're going to do it at a high level for a while, being fit and being coordinated, being able to get around quickly is important as well. But that's at a high level. Like I said earlier, if the consequences are a lot lighter, then that stuff doesn't matter as much.
And I have one more unscripted question, and that is what, your footwear is really important on the bow. you just
Yep.
you can't wear crappy shoes on the bow or slippery shoes on the bow. What are your shoes of choice?
Yeah, it is very important. And some boats have really good non-skid, some boats don't. And doing the bow, to do your job, you have to be able to trust that your feet stay planted so you can do what you need to do. So it's important. It's evolved a little bit over the years. A lot of my buddies that don't do the bow in the back of the boat, they wear traditional running shoes on the boats, with like the soft deck stuff in the cockpit. I wore traditional sailing shoes, meaning like the athletic style Sperry's or Helly Hansen. And I like a soft sole. I'm hard on my shoes, but the soft soles that are sticky don't last very long, but they're good sailing shoes. And just recently, in the last year or so, I found these New Balances with really soft, grippy soles, and they're a running shoe, but I've been happy with those. So the top pick to answer your question are these the soft New Balances and the Helly Hansen, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, what's next for you, Greg? How long are you going to be in Annapolis?
Yeah, so I'm here for a couple more weeks. I'm going to go down to Hampton and do some real local racing down there on the Carkeek 40 Meridian. And then my next real big event is back in Europe. The last week of September, we sail quantum racing in Italy, in Tuscany. So that'll be a good event for us because we're down 2 points for the season. So we have to regain that top spot, which will be a good challenge. And then some of the other, I sail on the RC44 LF. We have our Worlds coming up in October. TP52 Vesper, where I'll sail on this winter. So yeah, I could go on. There's a few more that I'm kind of regulars on, but that keeps me busy.
Well, I was a little jealous of your lifestyle just when you said the word Tuscany, but that sounds like a great schedule. We'll try to keep up with you this winter and see what you're up to. And we very much appreciate your coming back to the SpinSheet Happy Hour. And we hope we can bring you back again soon. Come back after your season and tell us how it went. Good luck to you in quantum racing.
Thanks, Molly. Thank you very much. I love what you guys are doing at SpinSheet. I love the Mount Gay rum. I'll have one tonight. Right. Yeah, have a good holiday weekend.
All right, you take care of yourself, Greg. All right, so we're going to do a little SpinSheet racing update. This is some of the things that are in the September issue of SpinSheet, which just came out. The Governor's Cup regatta, and those who did it knew that it was an exceptionally nice regatta, particularly at the end. They had wind through the St. Mary's River. This is a nice picture from the start by Al Schreitmuller. Thank you, Al, for taking pictures. We had another article on the Governor's Cup, too, an article by Greg Walker, who's a friend of the program. He wrote an article called Governor's Cup QTR, using the best of our QTR, meaning the quality time remaining. So he and you can switch slides for that. He and his buddies did the race on a Hinckley 50 called Godspeed, and they had a great time. And his article is funny and interesting. It's one of my favorites from our September issue. But one of the things that I loved, as I was reading it, I was thinking if we could all do the Governor's Cup on a 50-foot Hinckley with catered food, then the Governor's Cup regatta would grow hugely. But anyway, thank you to Greg for writing that article. It was really great. There's also an article about the Hampton Sprints by Lynn McCarthy, who is our correspondent, a longtime correspondent down at the Hampton Yacht Club. Hampton Sprints is a unique event in that they have boats of all sizes. They also had Vipers in it, and boats as big as the one that you're looking at it. They divide them up into categories based on their speed and their perforating and that sort of thing. And in a 4.5-hour period, they did 6 sprint races, and they had a total blast. This is the 3rd year for the event. They're also going to do the event next year, so put that one on your calendar. It's actually already on the SpinSheet calendar. I think it's the only race for 2023 that we've already put up on our calendar, so check it out. That was at the end of July. And also the Two Bridge Fiasco race sponsored by Annapolis Yacht Club was at the very end of July on a Sunday. I love this picture for a lot of reasons, not the least of which Mary Ewanson is skippering there, and she just really kicked butt in this race, and she won her class, and she came in second overall. But I also love it because you can see the Capitol building all wrapped up for its paint job in it, and it looks kind of surreal. It almost looks like someone has painted it onto this picture. So there's a little bit of a fun story on the Two Bridge Fiasco. We also have a story on the Snipes Women's Nationals, thanks to Lisa Pline and thanks to Ted Morgan for the nice photo. it's really a great event. The Severn Sailing Association really knows how to host a big event, and they got some big win for this regatta. So check out the report on the Snipe Nationals. The race to Oxford was held on October 12th, and that right there is John White's Abbott 33 called Country Squire. And if you look real closely at the guy wearing a white visor, that's Dave Gendell, who was the original editor of SpinSheet. He happened to be out there. That was the first time he had raced on a long bay distance race, not a long bay distance race, let's say a mid distance bay race. First time he'd done one of those in quite a long time. They won their class. And you'll find lots of other pictures and results from the race to Oxford. And we were out there. That was a windy start. It was a downwind start. It was really a great day to race for Oxford. The Oxford Regatta was held over a unseasonably beautiful August weekend that felt more like fall. One of the highlights of the Oxford Regatta is the award ceremony. And you can see the kids from the Opti Green Fleet here at the Harley Mansion. And there are more photos and results from the Oxford Regatta in our September issue. There's also an article that I forgot to mention, or forgot to bring a picture here, from the Olivia Constance Team Race International, which is a magnificent event for the whole family. And there's an article on that, and among other things, in our September issue. So if you haven't picked it up yet, please do check it out. You can find it in its entirety at spinsheet.com or wherever you pick up your spin sheet. We have a bunch of regattas coming up. Oh, geez, where did I put my regatta list? Wait 1 second here. Let me pull it up. Okay, so in September, I can read it right here. On September 3rd, we had the Annapolis Labor Day Regatta out of Annapolis Yacht Club. That is now a one-day event, Saturday only. Down at Fishing Bay Yacht Club, they had their Stingray Point Regatta, and that's in Deltaville. September 10th, this is a big race. It's always been a big race, but it looks like it's going to be particularly big this year, and that's the Naval Academy Sailing Squadron's race to Oxford on September 10th. The Harbor 20 Nationals was held that same weekend, September 9th through the 11th. The Hampton Yacht Club's Middle Ground Light Race will be on Sunday, September 11th. This one is near and dear to my heart because I happen to be on the board, but if you haven't signed up yet, please sign up for the Hospice Cup Regatta, September 17th out of Annapolis. There's going to be a fun, a little bit more less dressy than usual party. Last year we had a party at Horn Point Marina, and it was absolutely fantastic. So we're going to do more of that this year. So make sure to sign up for the Hospice Cup Regatta. It's the last stop in the Triple Crown of charity sailing. The 3 charity regattas in Annapolis that make up that grouping. The Hampton Yacht Club Sunfish Challenge and Dinghy Distance Race is also that day, and that's a lot of fun. The G30 North Americans will be run out of Annapolis Yacht Club on September 23rd and 25th. On the 24th, we have the AYC Fall Race to Solomons. And then also on the 24th is a brand new regatta. It's going to be managed by the Eastport Yacht Club. It's the Seafarers Regatta. This is going to be the first time that the Seafarers Yacht Club has done a regatta at Annapolis. It's going to be a lot of fun. You can find an article about it in the September issue of SpinSheet. And you can also go to Seafarers Yacht Club webpage and find a link to sign up for that regatta. I think they're actually doing it on Yacht Scoring. It should be on the Eastport Yacht Club's page as well. So those are our upcoming regattas. And other than that, we have our Mount Gay Red Hat photo of the month.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
See, and that is from the Crab Regatta. The race committee is sort of I just love their hats so much, and it's such a great event. So the Crab Regatta benefits Chesapeake Region accessible boating. It was on the 20th of August, so we do not yet have we didn't have any coverage of it in our September issue because it had already gone to the printer. So you're going to have to wait for October for the full coverage on that regatta. But if you'd like to see the pictures, you can find them at spinsheet.com/photos. And awesome. It's time for our cocktail, I think.
Yeah, I like this picture too. Mount Gay might have to consider actually, making the crab hats, putting the logo on the crab.
Can you imagine how well they would sell on the Chesapeake? That would be outrageous. Let's put that in the suggestion box for Mount Gay.
We'll talk to marketing, see what happens. All right, let's see here. Oh yes, we got to make our signature cocktail. And so we've got.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Thanks for having me. My name is Dominic Alling. I'm the National Brand Ambassador for Mount Gay Rum. Today I'm going to make you a Black Barrel Daiquiri with our Mount Gay Black Barrel. This is a 3 to 7 year old rum that's seasoned an additional 6 months of aging in heavily charred bourbon barrels. This daiquiri is super easy to make, and all ingredients you should have readily available at your house, including a bottle of Mount Gay Black Barrel, like I said. I've also went ahead and squeezed some fresh lime juice, so we'll add an ounce of that. Building this all in my shaker, which I will then shake and add ice and shake and put into my cocktail glass. And to finish it off, I'm adding a little bit of simple syrup. So this is a ½ ounce of simple syrup. It's essentially just sugar and water. I do a 1-to-1 ratio, sugar to water. Bring that up to a boil, let it cool off, then add it to my drink. Like I said already, we're gonna add some ice to this cocktail. So I don't recommend using your hands unless you're making it for yourself. You know, we're trying to be sanitary. But since I'm the one that's gonna be drinking this drink, I'm using my hands. And then we're just gonna shake this. So I have a 2-piece shaker. Works for me, gets the trick done. I've added ice, I have all my ingredients. I'm gonna give this a good shake. Okay. And then I'll just drain that out into my glass. You do have the option here to add fruit if you'd like. First start off by learning the classics though before you get ahead of yourself. And there you have it, your Mount Gay Rum Black Barrel Daiquiri. Enjoy.
Well, that looked yummy. I thought he was here live for a moment. I'm like, oh, I didn't know he was coming on live.
I was gonna try and make believe he was live, but I couldn't pull that off.
Well, I was confused. I'm like, oh, hi. I didn't know you were here. Anyway, that looks like a yummy drink. Maybe we'll have to put that on our agenda for 5 o'clock.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, speaking of 5 o'clock, we do anticipate bringing this program back to 5 o'clock once we're past the boat shows and stuff. The weather is still so nice. We assume you want to be outside at 5 o'clock, but we'll get back to that eventually. But for now, I would just say thanks so much for tuning in, and it is 5 o'clock somewhere. So and it was great to have Greg on the program. Greg and I go way back, so it's always nice to see his face in person, sort of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doing great and thriving,
That seems like quite a lifestyle, being a professional sailor. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Again, thanks to Mount Gay for sponsoring this event. And pick up a copy of SpinSheet and you'll find out when our next one's going to be. And we'll see you on the water. Bye, everybody.
Right. Have a great holiday weekend.